It was a typical Saturday afternoon at the Silverstone Galleria, a bustling shopping center in Carson, Nevada. Families wandered through the corridors, children pulled at their parents' sleeves, and the faint scent of popcorn and vanilla lingered in the air. For most, it was just another day, until an extraordinary figure stepped inside. A man in a crisp black blazer and jeans entered through the sliding doors near the atrium, his familiar features sparking quick, intrigued glances. He wore sunglasses and, more strikingly, a vivid red MAGA hat that stood out sharply against the mall's sleek ambiance. Whispers rippled through the crowd. "Is that Elon Musk?" A teenage boy near the water feature narrowed his eyes, his phone already raised for a photo. "No way," his friend mumbled, though he too began filming. Why would he be here? Within moments, shoppers started to gather subtly, their chatter laced with gasps and curious guesses. The man seemed unbothered, strolling past storefronts with casual ease. He even paused to examine a drone display at a tech stall, his face inscrutable behind mirrored lenses. Meanwhile, in the mall's administrative hub, John Whitaker, the manager, was finishing a standard rundown with his team. Known for his strict, no-drama approach and dedication to keeping the Galleria a welcoming space, John was a stickler for policy. One rule stood firm: no political statements, especially in such a communal setting. A knock broke his focus. It was Nancy, a security lead, her expression unusually lively. "John, you'd better come see this," she said. "We've got a situation." "What kind?" John asked, already standing. Nancy paused. "Well, Elon Musk, or someone who looks exactly like him, is out there, wearing a MAGA hat." John stared. "You're kidding." "Nope." With a sigh, John grabbed his radio. "All right, let's deal with it fast." By the time John reached the main concourse, a modest crowd had formed. Shoppers stretched their necks, murmuring as their phones recorded every move. The man had wandered into the bookstore, now flipping through a volume on artificial intelligence titled "The World We Shape." John's jaw clenched as he approached, his polished shoes tapping the marble floor. "Excuse me, sir," John began, his voice steady but firm. "Can we talk?" The man turned slowly, sliding his sunglasses down. If he wasn't Elon Musk, he was a near-perfect double. The crowd fell silent. "Yes?" the man replied, his tone calm yet subtly commanding. John eyed the hat briefly. "I'll need you to remove that hat or leave. We keep this place neutral, no politics." The man arched a brow, faintly amused. "A neutral place?" he repeated. "Yes, sir. Political gear can stir tension, and we want everyone to feel at ease here." A slight smile tugged at the man's lips. "Curious rule," he said, unmoving. "But I'm not taking it off." The onlookers' whispers grew louder. Some openly filmed the exchange. John felt their stares, the weight of countless lenses. "Sir, I'm asking nicely," he said, his tone sharpening. "If you don't comply, security will step in." The man crossed his arms, the hat gleaming under the lights. "Do what you must," he said coolly. John's hand hesitated over his radio as tension thickened the air. His call for backup crackled through, and soon the scene had drawn a sizable audience. Parents with strollers paused, teens peered from the upper level, and even the popcorn vendor craned for a view. Everyone's phones were out, streaming or snapping away. 2 security guards arrived. Eric, a towering figure, stood beside John, arms folded, while Mia, younger and visibly nervous, flicked her gaze between them and the man in the hat. The man held his ground, poised and unflinching, his expression tinged with quiet amusement. "Sir," John pressed, his voice now stern, "this is your last chance. Lose the hat or leave." The man glanced at the guards, then back at John. "And if I don't?" he asked, his tone steady, almost daring. "Then we'll walk you out," Eric cut in, edging forward. "Walk me out for a hat?" The man chuckled, shaking his head. "Listen to yourselves." The crowd's murmurs swelled. Some shouted support. "Let him keep it," yelled a man in a flannel shirt. "He's not bothering anyone," a woman added, phone aloft. Others disagreed. It's their mall, their rules, a voice countered. Politics don't belong here, another insisted. The man stepped closer to John, his presence striking yet calm. Tell me, Mr. Manager, he said, voice low. Is this about the hat, or who you think I am? John's breath caught for a split second. The question stung more than he'd admit. He straightened. It's not personal, sir. Rules are rules. Rules are rules, the man echoed softly, almost to himself. He removed his sunglasses, revealing piercing blue eyes that stunned the crowd into a collective gasp. It's him, a girl squealed, her voice piercing the noise. The man smiled faintly but didn't confirm it, letting the moment linger. John felt sweat bead on his neck. This wasn't routine anymore. It was a spectacle spiraling beyond his control. I'm asking again, John said, voice wavering. Will you remove it or leave? The man tilted his head, then, with calm defiance, said, No. Eric reached for his arm, but the man stepped back, his voice rising just enough. You'll drag me out? Go ahead. Let everyone watch. The crowd exploded. Some cheered him. Others gasped, phones catching it all. A few yelled at the guards to stand down. Others backed the policy. Mia whispered to John, What now? John paused, torn. The situation was a PR disaster either way, destined for social media infamy. Before he could act, the man raised a hand, quieting the chaos. Let's not overcomplicate this, he said firmly. He turned to John. But before you decide, maybe hear why I'm here. The crowd leaned in, curiosity piqued. Even John, despite his irritation, felt drawn to listen. All right, John said after a beat. Let's hear it. But if this is a gimmick, you'll know soon enough. The man cut in, his tone quietly assured, stepping forward. You think this is about a hat, he began, scanning the crowd, locking eyes with a few. It's not. It never is. The chatter died. Phones stayed up, capturing his every word as the crowd grew, spilling into nearby walkways and shops. Staff leaned on counters, rapt, while others watched from doorways. He faced John, gesturing lightly. You're doing your job, upholding rules, keeping peace. I respect that. But sometimes the rules we grip so tightly hurt more than they help. Look, John snapped, patience fraying. I don't know what you're driving at, but let me finish, the man said, hand raised, calm but firm. The crowd oohed at the quiet reprimand. John bit his tongue, nodding for him to go on. The man inhaled, eyes sweeping the faces. Picture this. Someone walks by wearing something you don't like, a hat, a shirt, anything. It bothers you, so you say they can't be here. You call it principle, protecting others. But it's fear. Fear of what they stand for. Fear of the unknown. His words landed hard, some nodding, others shifting uneasily. A voice broke through. Why the hat? Why here? A woman in a plaid top, phone steady, waited. He smiled faintly. Good question. I'll get there. Turning to John, he asked, What do you think people fear when they see this hat? John faltered, caught off guard. It's not fear, he said carefully. It's about neutrality. Politics don't fit here. The man raised a brow. Neutrality? That's not silence. It's letting people share space, even when it's messy. Murmurs rose again. A few clapped lightly, though most waited, unsure. Nancy sidled up to John, whispering, We're blowing up online. She showed her phone. Number MAGA at Galleria was trending, racking up thousands of views. This is nuts, John muttered, rubbing his forehead. I can't let it slide. Sensing John's strain, the man stepped closer. I didn't come to cause trouble, he said, addressing all. I came for a purpose. Yes, the hat's part of it, but not how you think. Curiosity overtook doubt. Even John leaned in slightly. Why are you here? Someone yelled. The man's smile hinted at depth. I'll tell you. But first, what if everything you assumed about someone flipped in a moment? Would you hear them out, or judge them by their clothes? The question hung heavy. Some looked away, others edged closer. John opened his mouth, but the man pulled a folded paper from his pocket, holding it up solemnly. "This," he said, unfolding it slowly, "is why I'm here." The crowd surged, phones zooming in on the crisp sheet. John squinted, trying to read it. "What is it?" someone called. The man's voice softened, drawing everyone in. "It's a letter from a young woman who works here. She wrote to me for help, and that's why I came." Whispers erupted. A letter from someone at the Galleria? It sounded wild. People exchanged baffled looks, phones still rolling. John stepped closer, arms crossed. "A letter? What's that got to do with this?" The man opened the paper fully, glancing at it before lifting his eyes. "It's from Kaylee," he said. "She's 21, works in the food court, and wants to go to college someday." A gasp spread. In the back, a girl in a blue apron with a stack of trays froze, paling as she heard her name. "Oh no," she breathed, hands shaking. "She wrote to me," the man went on, "because her mom's medical debt is drowning her family. She's juggling 2 jobs to help pay bills and still saving for school." The crowd's mood shifted. Tension softened into something deeper. Empathy. John's stomach eased, though unease lingered. "But why you?" John asked, quieter. The man smiled faintly, meeting John's gaze. "Because she thought I could help." He raised the letter. "Kaylee didn't send this to just anyone. She sent it to me, Elon Musk. And yes, that's who I am." Chaos broke loose. Gasps, shouts, disbelief. Phones zoomed in, matching his face to the icon they knew. "I knew it!" a teen crowed, while another muttered, "This is unreal." Even John, usually steady, reeled, staring at Musk, grappling with the truth. "Wait, what?" Musk chuckled, shaking his head. "You didn't buy it earlier. I get it. This isn't your average mall day." He faced the crowd, voice firming. "Kaylee's letter hit me. She didn't want cash, just advice on chasing her dreams amid her family's struggles. She thought I might know something." Kaylee, still in back, ducked behind a counter, but eyes found her. People pointed, whispered. Her face flushed. "Kaylee," Musk called gently, spotting her. "Don't hide, come here." She froze, pulse racing. Co-workers nudged her, murmuring support. Finally, trembling, she stepped forward, apron still on. The crowd parted. Musk handed her the letter, smiling warmly. "It took guts to write this. You were right. I want to help." Kaylee gaped. You read it?" she stammered. "I didn't think—" "I did," Musk said solidly. "And I'm here to meet you." Tears brimmed in her eyes as it sank in. "I don't get it," she said. "Why care about me?" Musk rested a hand on her shoulder. "Because people like you are why I keep going. You're the future. You deserve a shot at something big." Applause broke out, some wiping tears. Even John, clapping faintly, swept up despite himself. Kaylee brushed her eyes. "What do I do now?" "I'm just hanging on." Musk grinned, pulling an envelope from his jacket. "Start here. This is for you. An investment in what's next." She took it, hands shaky, and peeked inside. A check. She gasped, hand to mouth, reading the amount. The crowd craned forward. "It's $50,000, she whispered, voice breaking. Cheers erupted, louder now. Whistles, claps, the earlier standoff forgotten in this wave of warmth. Kaylee stood dazed, clutching the envelope, co-workers rushing to hug her. The Galleria buzzed, phones immortalizing the moment. John stepped up, softer now. "Mr. Musk, I didn't know about this. If I had—" Musk turned, calm but pointed. "You didn't know because you didn't ask. You saw a hat and judged. I get it. Rules matter. But sometimes they need to flex for what's right." John nodded, guilt settling in. "You're right. I got tunnel vision on policy, missed the bigger story. I'm sorry." Musk's expression eased, nodding. "Accepted. Just remember, people aren't their clothes or their views. Sometimes it's worth digging deeper." The crowd hummed agreement, some reflecting quietly. Musk turned to Kaylee. This is step 1. Use it to chase what you want, and when you can, lift someone else up. I will, Kaylee vowed, tears falling. As people drifted off, the moment rippled online. News framed it as Musk's surprise kindness. Back in his office, John scrolled X, wincing at critiques of his rigidity but pausing at one post. We all need reminders to see each other's humanity. Lessons learned. Let's grow. That night, Kaylee sat with her frail but beaming mom, check in hand. You've always fought hard, her mom said. Now you can build something amazing. Kaylee nodded, hope igniting. Musk left quietly, dodging press, but his act echoed, touching Kaylee, the crowd, and beyond. The next day, Silverstone's team apologized, pledging a more open approach. John wrote it, vowing compassion. The story spread, sparking talks on judgment, kindness, and connection. Proof that a clash over a hat could become a lesson in humanity.